Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Sarah LeBrad and today we have a writing experiment. It is really just as simple as the title says it is. I wanted to try writing for the first 15 minutes of every hour throughout a day. I'll talk a little bit more about why I wanted to give this a try a little bit further into the video, but before we get started, if you enjoy this video, if you could please give it a big thumbs up because that really supports my channel. And if you're not already subscribed but enjoy this video, please consider subscribing because it's free and you can always change your mind later. But alright, without further ado, let's get into it.
Good morning. It is currently 9:54. I'm gonna start my first 15-minute writing sprint at 10 o'clock today. I'm going to try and do the first 15 minutes of every hour for the next at least 10 hours. We'll see how that actually goes. But I'm thinking that I'll be able to do 10 or so hours. I will have a few hours that won't be able to be at the beginning of the hour. Like at noon, I have a phone call, so I'll try to write as soon as I'm off of the phone call. But overall, I'm going to try and write for as close to the beginning of the hour as I possibly can for 15 minutes for every hour. I don't normally time myself with writing sprints. I normally just try to go for like at least 15 minutes. And then if I'm feeling really good, I don't stop. But today I actually, number one, will be timing my writing sprints. And two, will actually be like forcing myself to stop after 15 minutes is done. I think currently that's what we're thinking. We'll see how it actually goes after this first sprint. It is now 10 o'clock in the morning, meaning that it is time for sprint number one of today. Okay, it is now 10:15. Sprint number one of the day is done. I did end up timing it and I ended up getting 404 words rewritten. I kind of want to make myself like a little chart to track for the day because yes, I like make notes on my computer, but I want to like write it down in Sharpie. So I think I'm gonna make that now. Okay, I have my tracker all set up. I put in my first sprint that I got 404 words, meaning that I'm also at 404 words total for the day, and yes, I timed that sprint. I decided to add this because I don't know if I'll time all of them. So I do have it set up so that at the bottom, if I choose to go longer than 10 hours, I can add more time down here. But here it is. It's very cute and I'm very excited for this. Okay, now it's 11 o'clock and it's time for sprint number two. For the second sprint of the day, I ended up rewriting 246 words, which is pretty solid. I was honestly amazed that I got 404 the first one. I do know that I'm rewriting, and so I'm writing a little bit faster because the words are already there. I'm just improving upon them. However, this time I was really getting in the zone, and so I did stop myself after 15 minutes, but I did then make myself a note of kind of where I was going with my thought so that hopefully I can come back to it better for the next sprint. I was supposed to have a call at 12 and now it's 12:30 and I finally heard back from the person that I was supposed to have it with that they want to reschedule to 2, and so therefore I have missed my 12 o'clock writing window today, but that's okay. I am technically working today, so I am kind of on call. So I know it comes with the territory, however it's still not ideal. So now that it's like 12:30, I'm gonna do my 15 minutes now and then probably take like a 5 or 10 minute break and then do my next 15 minutes when 1 o'clock comes around. I know the timer just went off, but I am on the last paragraph of a chapter, so I'm gonna finish that before I call it for this sprint. So in sprint number 3 for the day, I ended up rewriting 452 words, which is feeling very, very good. And I also just passed 93,000 words in my story. I have now also passed 1,100 words for the day. It is now 1:25. For all intensive purposes, I am now going to start my 1 o'clock 15-minute sprint. Okay, sprint number 4 is done. In that last 15-minute sprint, I did end up rewriting 606 words, which was pretty easy because it didn't need a whole lot of changing. However, it is now almost 2 o'clock, so hopefully the phone call that got rescheduled from earlier is actually going to happen around 2 o'clock, but we'll see. And if it doesn't, that's just a part of my job and I will readjust accordingly. After 4 sprints today, this last one has been my highest word count so far and has brought me up to 1,708 words. Also, because now I have done 4 15-minute writing sprints, I am now at 1 hour for the day. Again, just a gentle reminder that I'm rewriting and not drafting, and so this is a much faster process for me. Especially because the scenes that I'm working with today seem to be a little bit easier, at least the ones I have been so far have been easier to rewrite than normal. It is now 2:30, I still have not received the phone call, so apparently I'm very on call today, so I'm going to start my next sprint, so my 2 o'clock sprint, which is sprint number 5, for this experiment, fully expecting that I'll get a call like mid-sprint, but we'll see. Okay, 15 minutes is on the clock. Let's start it. For sprint number 5, I ended up getting 501 words rewritten, and I've now passed the 2,000 word mark for the day. I wanted to take a moment and talk about kind of why I wanted to try this writing experiment. It's more a test of my stamina and like coming back to the page again and again than it is actually getting words or time done. It's more the like actually getting myself to do it, because over the past like week or so, like I haven't really showed up to the page in the amount of time that I want to show up to the page, because I made a video like almost a year ago now called Building My Writing Schedule. I talk about this video a lot. If you have not yet watched it, I will link it down in the description box below, because I reference this video a lot because I found it very informative, but that I can achieve, or at that point in time could achieve, somewhere between 2 and 3 hours of creative work or writing work a day. But it was kind of seeming like that would come from like somewhere between like 4 long writing sprints and 8 like medium length writing sprints. And so I wanted to try this like shorter writing sprint amount to see if somehow that would force me to like unlock more potential, or if I really do succeed in the longer sprints, or if I don't do more of the longer sprints because they kind of burn me out because they are longer. So this is kind of just an experiment in trying to figure out my creative energy and how to tap into it more and kind of see if these consistent 15-minute sprints work for me or not. With that, I think it is important to take it with a grain of salt because I am recording this, and so that is of course different than how I would be acting if I wasn't recording this. I wish that wasn't true, but there's something about filming myself writing that holds me very accountable. So if you ever want to feel like you are being very productive or succeeding or getting a lot done, I highly recommend trying to record yourself with a time lapse while you're working on something. You can do this with writing if you choose to angle your phone or your camera at your computer, because it's fun to watch that time lapse back and see how much work you were doing by how many words fill the page. Or you could do this by just setting up your camera in like your kitchen or something when you're cleaning your kitchen, or just basically anything. And it's a very interesting way that I have found really helps hold me accountable, which is why I'm adding time lapses for every writing sprint, and we'll try to continue that for the rest of the day. It does also have the added perk of forcing me not to check my phone mid productive sprint of any sort. And if you choose to try that time-lapse trick, please let me know down in the comments below, because I find it super helpful and I want to know if it helps anyone else. I did just work straight for an hour from 4 until 5, and so I kind of skipped hour 4 accidentally, but I'm gonna give that to myself and just like be okay with that. We're just not gonna count it in the total because my job is important. Anyways, now it is 5:01 and I just finished work for the day, I hope, assuming that nothing else pops up, so I'm gonna start another writing sprint. Well, Well, in that 15-minute sprint, which was technically my 7th of the day, I ended up rewriting 609 words. I am now over 3,000 words rewritten for the day. I'm back on the ground for my 6 o'clock sprint. And by 6 o'clock, I mean like 6:40 because I did eat dinner, but still my 6 o'clock sprint. That was the 8th writing sprint of the day, and I ended up rewriting 315 words, which means that I have also now rewritten for 2 hours today. My downstairs neighbors are watching their movie so loud, but despite that, I was able to rewrite 656 words in that 15-minute writing sprint. My 7 o'clock sprint, because I missed my 4 o'clock sprint, was my 9th sprint of the day, and it brought me up to a total of 4,091 words rewritten for today. Okay, it is time for my 8 o'clock sprint, which is going to be my 10th 15-minute sprint today. I also changed into a gray sweatshirt instead of the black sweatshirt because the black one was kind of annoying, but I feel like the rewriting that I've been doing, it's very easy to get overwhelmed or like tired of what I'm working on, kind of because this project that I'm rewriting has like such a large scope that it kind of feels intangible. And so I have accomplished 9 15-minute sprints today, and I've already gotten like 4,000 words done. So this does seem to be keeping me pretty well in like the right headspace of where I should be for these shorter sprints. It's kind of like bringing me back to it. The consistency of doing it every hour has worked pretty well so far. It has been interesting because I don't really feel like I can get like really into the story and just like really get in the zone, because sometimes I do like up to like 45-minute long writing sprints, and when I do that I feel overwhelmed and kind of exhausted after I do one of those. And so I'm wondering if these really short sprints are helping with that. And I think it also helps that these chapters that I've been going over were pretty short, and so it kind of seems like I can tackle like half a chapter per 15-minute sprint or so. At least that's how most of today has gone, and so this is just kind of an interesting experiment. Perfect timing. Sometimes I try to guess what my downstairs neighbors are watching because they play it that loud. Anyways, in my 10th 15-minute sprint today, I ended up rewriting 672 words. Here are the final results. That last sprint was the highest of any of the 15-minute sprints today, and that brought me up to 4,763 words rewritten. I also had 4 different 15-minute time blocks where I got over 600 words. These 10 15-minute writing sprints, obviously I didn't count the 4 o'clock one because I was working and didn't get any words. So 10 sprints over a span of 11 hours. That is very respectable, but 10 15-minute writing sprints totals up to be 2.5 hours of writing. I am feeling very happy with these results, honestly. I don't know how sustainable it is, just because doing 15 minutes every hour, while in theory is very nice, it's hard to adjust to writing and then adjust to something else that's not writing, like working basically. Or even taking breaks for dinner and stuff was kind of hard because I only had roughly like 45-minute chunks between my writing sprints to do other things. So I'm not sure I would continue this into like my day-to-day writing schedule, but it was kind of a nice like kickstart to get back into creating, just because I haven't written in a couple days.
days. So if you've kind of been feeling out of it, I highly recommend trying to do this for yourself. It does not have to be 10 hours or all day by any means, but it kind of is just nice to take like 3 or 4 hours and just be like, every time it hits the 0-0 mark on the clock, I'm gonna do a 15-minute writing sprint or a 20-minute writing sprint or something, just to kind of like kickstart that creativity again and really get your brain thinking about writing sprints and like accomplishing writing within those shorter sprints. And if all else fails, who doesn't love writing in Sharpie? I'm actually like very pleasantly surprised with how this turned out. I don't know if that's because the last time I made a chart like this was for my half marathon write-a-thon, where I tried to both walk 13.1 miles and write for 13.1 hours, kind of like combining those two into like a long quest. I ended up stopping at hour 8 in that one, so I think that kind of like skewed my expectations for this, but I am very, very happy with how this turned out. So if you choose to try anything like this, please let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts. That being said, I did end up writing for 15 minutes every hour for 10 of 11 hours today, and I call that a huge success. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up because it really supports my channel by telling the YouTube algorithm that you liked my video and that someone else might too. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more from me and are not already subscribed, feel free to scroll down below, hit that big red subscribe button and that little notification bell next to it, because hey, it's free. You can always change your mind later. And with that, I think I'm gonna call it a night, and I will see you guys next time with another video. Bye.